You and I are going to have a very serious talk. Of course, you know that I get these messages. No, I'm not doing some weird channeling, but I want you to know I do open myself up to messages that you're getting all the time, but we're so caught up in the material world that we're just not listening to it. We're listening to the programming, the separation, what I want, and then we get our all panties all, rumpled up in a bunch, and we can't get past these barriers to listen to what's going on in there. Now, this is a day after elections. I don't know when you're going to see this, but I have a super important message for you about this. This is either going to put you totally at ease or have you say that, I'm full of doo-doo. Either way, keep an open mind. Let's talk. I think you're going to really like this message to humanity. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Well, last night, the elections came through, and it looks like we have a clear winner, Trump. I just want to say a couple things about that, some predictions that were made, and I want to just demonstrate to you exactly how things are working. And those predictions are going to back up everything that I say. And what I'm about to tell you right now, I think you're going to love it. So let's do a little housekeeping. Please subscribe. Please support my channel. That's going to empower you, because I'm going to actually start doing videos of how you can tap into the very power that I do. If you get out of your way, you will be absolutely blown away by what it'll do for you. I also want to let you know that I have Breakthrough Fear is now a membership, because it was a big deal, and now I broke it down into a monthly membership, and it's still the same amazing training, 5-star. This is here. This is free. You can check it out. There's a master class, and if you think this is for you, you'll be able to afford it. I wanted to make sure I give you all the tools. And my entrepreneurs, come over. Let's do some amazing things with Planet Conscious Businesses. You don't have to know a thing. Why are these two important? Because we're going to go into something that's even more challenging than we have. But I want you to celebrate it, because now you are part of something so amazing that's happening on this planet. It's what you came here for. Now, I did a video on people will be exiting. We're going to have events that allow people to leave who don't want to stay in this time period of transitioning into the golden era, and that's exactly what's happening. Things are aligning and allowing the program to send us the revolutionary changes, and I don't mean that in conflict, transforming into from here to here. Every time we've had the 84 transit of Uranus, I'll pronounce it a different way every time for you guys. And when it comes around, we've had the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War II. But I want you to think about this. The players involved, and what was the result of these things? This is very, very important. Why do I say this? It's about the results of the challenge. And that's what today is about. Now, those of you, I'm going to really address directly this whole election thing. There were, and I saw them, I actually went and purposely looked at them, because I don't like to look at anything out there. I don't watch the media or anything else. There were predictions that people, I think that they know based on what they see at the moment, and they're allowing their egos to get involved. And I see these tarot card readers, astrology. I'm looking at them, doing a little bit of research and study, and it's so way off base it isn't funny. If there was one reading for whatever your sign is, wouldn't they be consistent? They're totally, completely different. And they change all the time. The predictions about the elections were all over the board. Now, I gave you mine that wasn't a prediction. It was how things were aligned. And that was that Trump happened to be a Gemini, okay? And that things were aligning in Gemini exactly in the time that elections were taking place, which was good for him. I shared that with you, and I also said, well, we have a woman that is running for office, and we're supposed to be going into a feminine way of life era, so maybe it means that. Things are all up to interpretation, but I saw people out there making these insane predictions of civil war because they assumed that Trump would lose, and they know what would happen if that happened, and at least they assumed. And they then, and we know what assume stands for, but then they would say, somebody just a big name, the best, psychic on the planet says, it's going to be delayed, it's going to be weeks, we won't know who the winner is till January. Well, we knew who the winner was. It was close, but we knew who it was. So I want you to shut that crap down. When they tell you how things are, it's impossible. It's literally impossible. When they tell you what things are aligned up for, then you can say, I have control over that result. This is how it works. And all of that proves and backs us now. I have some friends that definitely did not want this result. Rightly so. I mean, this is such a controversial time. We all have our opinions, and we're allowed that. There is no right nor wrong. If you are battling somebody, then you are still in density. It doesn't matter who goes in office. I'm going to tell you why. And I shared this with my friend. I said, because who's going to these classes and the meditation, she said, I don't have compassion right now. I said, that's your ego talking. So the collective spoke. It doesn't matter if I like it or you like it. It doesn't matter. The collective spoke. And here's the challenge. I want you to grasp this, because this is what we're about. Not who wins. This is what we're about. And that is when the collective makes decisions, whether you call it right or wrong, high frequency or low frequency, it's what's here. And that's free will choice. And we signed up for it. I told my friend, I said, there's always going to be a small percentage of awakened people. All right? That's just how it is. So you still have to deal with the fact that people are making choices that are destructive. The same thing with those elections. You'll say, well, this should be this way or that, but should it? It's free will. We signed up for it. End of story. Here is what's the most important part about this. If Trump had not gone into office, it's very possible, like we saw had already happened, history repeats itself, that there would have been some great unrest and reactions to that. Okay? I don't even want to get into it. So, is it maybe a good thing that he came in, so maybe we can get on with life? 4 years? Here's the deal. You still are in control. And so if you are still eating your fast food and using plastic and, saying that certain races or cultures or religions are wrong, you're the problem. And you're going to stay in that program. Now, when I say problem in your collective, not mine. I see you as a choice maker. You can't be wrong. But when you have right and wrong, problem, good, bad, you become the problem when you go into that. In that reality, which names people as right and wrong, good and bad. I don't see it that way. And so I said to my friend, she says, I have no compassion. I said, I do. I have total compassion. The people spoke. This is the frequency of the United States right now. And you can say it's a high or low one. It doesn't matter. We don't know. We don't know what the results are going to be here. Because things happen exactly the way they should, according to what reality and future we're creating. So if Trump represents a different reality, we just went on a completely different pathway now. Whoever came in was going to take us on a completely different pathway. We are now going to a different future. It doesn't stop us from going into golden era if you don't agree with him. All right? We don't know what would have happened if Harris came in. We don't know anything. So I want you to sit back and say, we as a collective, once again, caused that to happen. All right? Now, we as a collective, no matter what happens over here in the old institution, it's still an old, good old boy institution, let's face it, that's the truth. In everything, we still get to make our own choices about everything. To me, it's irrelevant who went into office. I had a favorite, but I don't even know if that was going to be the best result, because I don't know what those decisions would have been made along whatever's going to happen to us. What I can tell you about Trump, and I said this to my friend who's not happy about this, I said, you know what? Let's turn this around. This person who says make America great again now has some serious pressure to do that. Go ahead, let's see it. That's not a bad thing, is it? Now he's going to want to be the greatest president in the world, and if that comes from ego and it results in something amazing, we'll benefit. If it takes us into a negative place, it takes a village to do that, right? You can't have one leader without the village participating. The village has to believe things to go along with anything that's in conflict or destructive. So if you're doing that, we're the problem, okay? Relax. It doesn't matter who's doing this and who's doing what. The bottom line is, what's my role in this? Now, I just spoke to one of my Breakthrough Fear students coming over. Beautiful person. Great trauma. Lost her husband tragically. Lost her son recently tragically. And I said to her, now is the time to step up. We see things as wrong and we struggle against it because we don't like to feel bad. We don't like the challenges. And when you start to embrace it and say, there's something here for me to do, this is what we came for. So now we're in an era where choices are going to accelerate. You're going to be tested. This shift, separation, is going to accelerate. But those who are in peace will not see that as a problem. They will take charge of their own response, and they will start to create the new earth. Others will hang on to how things are and say, that's wrong, it needs to change because this is how things are, and they will cling to old programming and systems that are on a lower frequency that don't work. And I told you before, they implode on themselves because when you're going down here, there's nowhere else to go but destruction. We saw that in World War II, okay? What a charismatic person. Wow. How did that one little man, who's Jewish, by the way, did you know that? Yeah, his mom was, so that makes him Jewish. Get all those people to do horrific things. We have to believe it. We have to be in our own, let's just say, insecure, nothingness place. And somebody else gave those people some meaning and superiority. So he was feeding off of that, because that's where he was. I have compassion for that. And there were many who put their lives on the line to step away from it. And there were many who tried to take him out. And it didn't work, did it? Wow. But eventually, he went out on his own, let's just say, cause and effect. And we, as a nation, the United States, because we stepped in that horrific situation, what did we do? We went into an expansive place and we became a superpower. Why? Because we bothered to step in when we didn't have to, right? They weren't on our turf yet. These are opportunities. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, we're going to go into whatever, the final outcome of any of these challenges has the ability to take us into something completely different than the programming. Our response could be different. And if some of it is, let's just say, of a negative nature, a very, let's just say, a destructive nature, like the 3 wars that we went through in the Uranus transit, broke through to freedoms and changes, the abolishment of slavery, freedoms and people stepping out, Lincoln putting himself in a very, very precarious position. This is what we're going through. It's okay. It doesn't matter who the players are. It matters how you handle it. Don't go into opposition. Don't get into arguments with anybody. So if you feel that those who are staunch Trump supporters, cause, arguments and whatever, conflict. You don't have to engage in it. Don't engage. But here's the good part. So far, everything's pretty peaceful. Why? The ego's got their way, you could say. That's okay. That might be a good thing. So again, I'm not judging that either way, and I'm not participating in it. My heart goes out to anybody who feels like our world is a horrible place. It's a challenging one, and it's not easy, and there's a heaviness that I have. But I'm going to tell you something that's happening right now, and I want you to know this because this is the critical turning point. I'm moving on 11/11. I didn't even know it until I realized that's the date I'm moving. It was an unexpected move. I seriously, within a week, found out that I was going to move, made that decision. That was part of my decision. And decided that this new place was the absolute best place for me. There's a shift in energies. You're going to find yourself moving, changing relationships, deciding that you don't want to think that way anymore, letting go any attachment to opinions or this is how things are because it's an old world that just doesn't work, has never worked. You are so perfect. You are so perfect. And that voice and that clairaudience that I get says, this is all just part of the chatter. It doesn't matter. What it is irrelevant. All I hear is wah, 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 wah. I think it's funny. And people getting up and getting upset over these things, I say, you're still in control. And through our choices, we control that out there. If we don't want something, we see it's not good, and we want to come together as a community, it will respond to us. It has to, or else it loses its power, whether it's corporations, institutions, people, it doesn't matter. When you're making choices to heal yourself and use natural herbs and medicines or whatever, you're choosing a different pathway. You're working with nature. Nature wants that. So then these guys are going to have to start making some changes if we stop going to them. Nobody makes us do that. It's a programming. It's conditioning. I need to do this. You guys know my friend Tiffany just died. Found out on February 14th. And she was gone by August. Well, in July, actually, before her birthday. That's how quick she went. And she was getting all the stuff, man. She was getting loaded with it. Oh, it's gone. I've cured it. And I said, it's temporary. And that's exactly what it was. All those drugs and the pain she went through. It held it off for weeks. And she spent that time period in that fear. In that fear. So you have to make decisions for yourself. Don't let anybody tell you what's right or wrong for you. And it's tough because, the norms will always tell us to go into that safe zone. It's not safe. You know what? You're eternal. There's nothing to fear. And if you go through some challenges, there is another way. And the more you go into peace in that space of, guide me, show me. I won't tell you what it is or when. Just show me. And things show up. A new place shows up and says, hey, Landria, there's a different energy field over there. It's more peaceful. It's very noisy here next to the pool. I didn't know that. And amazing people over there. And I said, I feel the shift already. And you can say, oh my gosh, I have to move again. And I said, no, yes. Yes, if you're in my miracle circle, this month, the training is yes, yes. Ooh, it looks uncomfortable. Yes, I don't know what that outcome is. Maybe you don't like who just went in office. We don't know what that outcome is. It may surprise you. Or if it goes down a direction that's undesirable, it's another test, an opportunity for us to say, I don't have to. I don't have to go into conflict. I'm going to go over into peace because I'm done with that. Do you feel better now? I know that before I went to bed, it didn't look like Harris was going to win. And my friend said she didn't look forward to waking up in the morning. I thought, we should look forward to every morning. I don't know what it's going to bring. So I just want you to know that I have adjusted my training, my coaching. I have private coaching that I've added. So if you don't want to take courses, let's talk. Let's talk. sign up for my list. This is my spiritual one. I suggest you sign up for both. This is for entrepreneurs. They're creating businesses, no experience. You don't have to even know what it is. That's what we do. We're creating. We create something. We monetize it. It's helping people. It's helping the planet. It's helping, everybody who's involved with you. And it starts here. It helps you. My students are going into a more peaceful place. They're expanding and saying, wow, I'm actually getting to explore things I'm passionate about. How cool is that? You want to do it? Come on over. You're welcome. Yes, I have tuitions attached, but I've changed Breakthrough Fear so that everybody could come and do the membership. It's every 30 days now. So come on over. If you're in fear, I'll help you break through. It's very personal. So you just don't read my book. You guys can read my book. That's great. But Breakthrough Fear, it gives you exercises, specific meditations. We go through gateways. You master this and you go through and all of a sudden life looks very different. Your past looks completely different. All of a sudden, the victim that you were, the pain, it makes so much sense. And you go to a state of peace and expansion. You say, oh, these things that are happening right now, they're catalysts for the change that's going to happen. Only if we stick to that positive, high frequency change. And we allow that to play out. Allow it to play out. This is not an easy place to be. It's never going to be comfortable. Not in our lifetime, but you can create that here. All right, we break through the fear. It's there. It's like going through a cloud in a plane. There's sunshine on the other side. Some lightning, little thunder. You can do it because you're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.